Hi, my name is Daniel Roebuck. I play Greez Dritus in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I think that I'm here to answer your questions. My favorite Star Wars film is Rogue One. I think really I did like it very much. Well, I just thought it was extraordinary how they had to recreate the 1977 New Hope Star Wars time frame. So they had to put the railings back in to the story. By the way, this is something that always bothers me in any new movie. In the seventh Star Wars, like we know that, well, spoiler alert, we know that someone's going to die because they're on a quarter-mile long walkway with no railings that falls into an abyss of nothing. So how would they build something that's quarter-mile long and not put railings on? Like somebody, OSHA, even at the Empire would be like, hey, we got to have, come on now. Like, look, if the Empire's like the Nazis, they were famous for having so much government that there would have been like a compliance department to make sure that everybody had the handrails on the quarter-mile long spans of walkway where somebody might fall off or get killed by their rotten son. Anyway, the point I'm making is when you go to Rogue One, they had to put all those railings back in. Why are there railings in Star Wars? So that David Prowse and Sir Alec Guinness didn't fall down the steps. So that's why there's railings, just like there's railings in this place that I'm filming this thing, so that I don't fall down the steps. Anyway, that's why I like Rogue One, and the acting was very good too. Okay, question number 2 is, what was my inspiration for the character of Greez when I was bringing it to life? I'll be very honest, at the audition, I channeled Ernie Borgnine, who was so great in all of those movies that he's ever done, especially the ones in the 70s, where he was like, Leno, he was always such a, like, he just felt everything so strongly, and I completely love that about Ernie Borgnine. I would say that when we were actually making the show, it wasn't necessary to channel another actor I respect very much, Joe Pesci, who is, the whole thing about Greez is he's a little guy, but little guys don't see themselves as little guys. Archetypically they see themselves as big guys. And so, Greez, in the ship, it's his ship, so he's in charge. And he might be little on the planet Kashyyyk, but on his own planet, he's the right size. The third question is, if I could collaborate with one person from the past or the present, who would it be? Well, it would be me, of course, because, I could go back to me, the writer of like 1985, and go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever read, and it's not funny. And then that 1984 or 85 version of me could say, remember when you were younger and you understood comedy better? That's actually a joke. Look, do you know who I want to collaborate with, and I am collaborating with? My daughter. So that is like going back to the past and writing into the future, because I actually physically made my co-writer. So she kind of owes me a little something. So when we get to the point where we're both arguing something, I might say, I think I should win this argument. I'm making jokes because I just can't help myself. But the truth is, I love collaborating with my daughter, and I know we're going to collaborate into the future. So the fourth question is, did you like the prequels? Let's admittedly say that the prequels, there was a lot of people walking around, I'm the emperor and I'm walking around a hallway. Like, is this what this advanced civilization does? And the other thing about the prequels I didn't understand is everybody lived like in these beautiful, like the emperor lived in this beautiful house that evidently was right next to the freeway. Zoom, 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 zoom. Why, if you were the emperor, wouldn't you be like, I want to live where I have views of the Besbin moon or the Hoth sun. Why would I want, nobody was like, I can't, emperor, yes, what would you like? I can't hear you because of all the, why do we live on the 405 freeway? I don't understand. But I liked that they made them, and I liked that they projected them digitally, because it was the beginning of a new era of filmmaking. And we have Mr. Lucas to thank for that. The last question is, what is the best moment that I ever had on a set for a project I worked on? You know, at the end of The Fugitive, we walk Harrison Ford out of the building, speaking of Star Wars, and so I put him in the car with Tommy Lee Jones and Tom Wood, and Tom Wood gets in the front, and I get in the driver's seat, and Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford get in the back, and I've got to, you know, there's all the extras, and I got to put the car into a gear and go and drive up the road in Chicago. And so we walk, we get in, we run around, and right as I like start fumbling in my glasses because at then I didn't have LASIK surgery and I couldn't see what I was doing. And I remember, you know, Han Solo in the backseat. Oh, for God's sake, the guy can't see anything. Oh, come on, you know. So that, yeah, and you can't replicate that kind of thing when you're making Han Solo weep. And then another moment that was different but equally great is when we had my son Buster playing me in the movie Getting Grace, and I got to shoot this shot that I envisioned 4 years earlier where we brought him into the scene, and I just watched him being me in this environment that I was actually in when I was his age, and that you just can't even describe what that's like. And honestly, lastly, you know, the day we were shooting the last part of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and it was the last day we were going to be in the spaceship, and they you know, you don't really take photos. It's definitely frowned upon, but they said we could all pose in the spaceship. So there was that moment where we all stood around the cardboard spaceship with the dots on our face and the cameras on our head, and we all thought, you know, this is probably as good as it's ever gonna be. Well, those questions were really great. If you have 5 more, I'd be happy to answer them. In the meantime, if you want to know what's going on, you could always go to Daniel Roebuck, the page on Facebook. You could go to our Getting Grace movie page. That's a movie that I made that I just talked about. And lastly, if you want to know about the faith-filled family movies that we're going to make in the future, please join us at achannelofpeace.org. achannelofpeace.org. I'll see you there.